I deleted almost 2 million YouTube views. Sounds drastic, but truth be told, stick with me for a bit because it's not as crazy as it sounds. My gaming channel Midgeman was a ghost town. I'm talking a decade of my life's work, and by the end of 2024, it was just floundering, dying, slowly, painfully. My viewers were stagnant. My subscribers were nowhere to be seen. I had invested ridiculous amounts of money into editors and a podcast, started extra channels, and honestly, I was one click away from deleting the whole thing. I felt like I was screaming into the void. Instead, I saved my YouTube channel by deleting almost 2 million views. And that was only the first of 5 big changes I made through 2025. Not quick fixes or easy hacks, but 5 fundamental shifts. And those 5 changes, they didn't just bring my channel back to life. They made the first quarter of 2026 the most profitable quarter in my YouTube channel's history, almost now matching the entire income of last year in just 4 months. I know this sounds like a crazy pitch, but just look at this. Here's my revenue from Q1 of 2025, and here's 2026 so far. I'm uploading less than half the content, but my income and views have just exploded. How did I turn my dying channel into a thriving one? Stick around because I'm going to show you every single thing. Alright, let's rewind to the end of 2024. My channel was a complete mess. It was a digital hoarder's nightmare, bloated with thousands of videos. Most of them were really low effort let's plays and unedited stream VODs, going all the way back to when I started in 2015. Content from absolute years ago with terrible audio and absolutely no focus. I was a content machine for sure, but it was digital junk. The real problem here was it was creating a split identity. I was starting to create and had been creating for a while these new high-impact videos, polished guides for games like Medieval Dynasty, and high-energy hero video for games like CK3. Videos that I was genuinely proud of, but were dead on arrival, for the most part. Whilst these views might look good, there was a lot of flatlining in the back end, and the true potential of the videos wasn't quite right. What had happened was the YouTube algorithm was now totally confused. Was my channel about 100 episode Divinity Original Sin Let's Plays? Or was it about this new content I was trying to make, these hyper-edited, high-production videos? Was it about concise and strategic guides? What was my style? I already knew that I had changed the style of the video. I'd been starting doing that when I had editors in 2024, but did YouTube know that? Because as far as I was telling it, I didn't know who I was. So how could YouTube? And that confusion had real consequences. The algorithm would show my new polished guides for Crusader Kings 3: A Game of Thrones to someone who subscribed 5 years ago for a totally different game. They then wouldn't click, and my CTR would tank. And then on top of that, older videos started appearing next to new videos in the search feed as well. The algorithm would then see a failed video and just sync it. That huge back catalogue wasn't an entire library of valuable assets, it was a huge anchor dragging my channel down. A viewer's found passion might be just gone in an instant. They didn't continue watching. So, it turns out my channel was on life support, and I was the one that put it there. So, what was the first absolutely terrifying step I took in 2025? Well, it's actually something I played around with in 2024, and it was a digital exorcism. I sat down and unlisted 3,100 videos. Not deleted, unlisted. And that difference is everything. Here's why. When you unlist a video, its public watch hours from your monetization tracker and your view count go. Now, this obviously comes with its own huge risks. If I removed so much viewership, if I removed so much from my back catalogue, there is a chance I drop below the 4,000 hours watch time and get kicked from the YouTube Partner Program. And I've been through that once before. If you want that story, check out this episode of Upload Podcast. But at this point, it was a calculated risk. Let me explain. Deleting a video is like burning a page in a history book. It's gone forever. All the data, all the audience connections, they get wiped out, which is why YouTube itself actually warns against creators doing this. Unlisting it though, that's like putting the page in a secure folder, an archive. The video is gone from the public view, so it stops confusing any search algorithms, but you don't risk all of the legwork that it did in the past. And that's what we needed it to do. We needed to perform algorithmic surgery. I needed to tell YouTube to both stop showing them against an audience that subscribed years and years ago, but also promoting those videos from years and years ago alongside the new videos, just because they had some related search term. I wanted the data, but not the video. At this point with my channel, with so much inflation of content, it was the only way to retrain my algorithm. The only way to clarify my channel's identity. I had to remove the confusing low quality signals that were frankly poisoning my new content. I cut out the blurry Let's Plays, the various series I abandoned, those videos that sounded like I was recording with a mic stuck in a wind tunnel. Anything that didn't represent the channel I wanted in 2025 and 2026. And that was hard, you know. There's a lot of memories for both me and my community, and I felt like I was throwing away years of work. But it was the most important step I took to reset this channel, and it was the only way I could give my new content a fighting chance. I needed to tell the algorithm to forget all the noise. This is what I want you to listen to. Now, some of you might be saying that you could just set your videos to private, and that would have the same effect. But here's the kicker. Unlisted videos can still make you money. If an old unlisted video is embedded in some forum from a decade ago, and somebody watches that video, you can still pick up the ad revenue, and you can still pick up the views. And the things that will be promoted alongside it, well now, that's going to be your new content. Now, it is definitely worth privating some content, especially with changes in YouTube policy, for example. If there is content that doesn't exactly align with your new channel or is at a higher risk, it's probably worth just getting rid of it altogether. Views aren't everything. Algorithm is. But if, like me, you have a few Let's Play Part 1s with 10,000 plus views, keeping them unlisted might be worth it. Anyway, the great archiving wasn't just about getting rid of old new content. It technically was only half the battle. The real strategy here was to go all in on a niche. I had to decide who I was made for. So I made the decision to become a medieval gamer. That meant the content that I kept would solely focus on medieval RPG fantasy content. Stuff that was somewhat similar. Because this isn't just a content decision we're making, this is a branding and packaging decision as well. Legitimately though, this made the unlisting process even more painful. Because it meant that it wasn't just low quality videos that were getting the axe. I had high quality, popular videos that just simply didn't match the rest of my ideals. My Hearts of Iron content, for example. It had a solid following and I worked with that brand personally, but it was sending my algorithm mixed signals, so I dealt with it, like Old Yeller. Some of it I unlisted, and for the really good stuff that I thought the community would like to still reminisce with or see, I made it members-only content, giving my paid supporters a bonus while still cleaning up the face of the channel. This is so critical on YouTube right now. Niches are everything. When your channel is tightly focused, you make the algorithm's job easier. It knows exactly who to show your videos to. This leads to higher click-through rates and higher engagement. You're not just a general gaming channel anymore. You're a channel for a specific type of viewer. This builds a loyal, hyper-focused, hyper-engaged audience. They trust what you make because they know exactly what to expect. Choosing my niche was about turning my channel from a general store to a specialist boutique. And I want to say this is only for medium and small channels, this little tip. Niche bending is something the larger channels want to do. Anyway, once I cleared out the graveyard, I was left with about 200 videos. A much smaller but much more high quality collection. But they were still just a pile of videos. The next radical change was to stop thinking about videos on a singular upload basis, but as a curated library. For this, I became a playlist architect. And honestly, looking at my data, it's probably had one of the single biggest impacts on my channel's revival. And you don't have to damage content to do it. YouTube's biggest, newest driver of viewership right now isn't click-through rate or engagement rate. It's something known as session time. Session time is how long someone has been watching or binging your content through their own watch session. You gain engagement not just from being a part of a multi-channel watch session, but also by starting a watch session. And that's why playlists are so powerful right now. Before now, my playlists were kind of an afterthought. I had generic titles like Baldur's Gate 3 Bard Let's Play, but now I approach them like a strategist. I grouped my best videos into super specific, keyword-rich playlists. So instead of RPG guides, I made playlists like Manor Masterclasses, the ultimate guide to building a kingdom, and things like What If Meles the Monstrous took over the Iron Throne. Playlists are like giving instructions to the YouTube algorithm, which is why creating smaller series playlists is key, 4 or 5 videos, and then you intermingle those with much larger playlists. When you group related videos under a smaller related search umbrella, especially if the title is more specific, searchable, and relatable, you're literally telling YouTube, these videos are about one topic. Anyone who watches this will like the next one. And that creates a domino effect. First, your videos get recommended more. When someone finishes a video about, say, a specific game or mechanic or whatever you're creating, YouTube is way more likely to suggest another video from that playlist. Not necessarily on the end card, but also on the sides of the video, and just when someone starts their next watch session, when they come back to YouTube. That's how sometimes, for example, if you've opened YouTube and you see loads of videos from channels you're not subscribed to, but the videos relate in terms of topic, that's because of your session that you've just had, the session that you left off on. So we need to tell YouTube that our videos deserve to be reshown to someone restarting a session. This then keeps people on your channel, which then leads to the second benefit, longer watch sessions. The autoplay feature in playlists are basically a passive income machine. Every extra video the viewer watches, it sends a huge signal to the algorithm. And that signal is, you're making people happy. And in 2026, the algorithm is about one thing, viewer satisfaction. Nothing says I'm satisfied like watching 5 videos from one creator in a row. Finally, again, the playlists themselves are searchable assets. A great playlist title can rank high in the search itself. This is especially useful for courses and tutorial series, or really bespoke YouTube series themselves, playthroughs, whatever you're doing. This opens up a whole brand new avenue of discoverability. It's like free bonus metadata for every single video. And hell, I'm only halfway through sorting my playlists, but I've gone from chaotic mess to clean, smart library. And honestly, it has really, really helped. By the way, if you are finding this helpful and find that your own channel's stuck, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, because I'm sharing everything I learn as I go. And also, maybe get in the comments. I'm going to try my best to answer each one. So, what's the single biggest challenge you face on your YouTube channel right now? I do have another challenge, but I'm going to save that for a different video. Now, let's continue with the story and get on to more tips, shall we? With my channel's skeleton rebuilt, it was time to add the muscle. My third radical change was a complete metadata overhaul. It's not the sexiest work, but it is the digital glue that is holding your entire channel together. First, I went through and updated things like my channel tags. Then I went through every single one of my 200 videos and I refreshed the metadata. We're talking titles, tag sections, descriptions, thumbnails, everything. Old vague titles like Half Lolston CK3 A Game of Thrones were thrown out and we replaced them because they were giving us stagnant views. We made more enticing titles. I changed them to be something that was super eye-catching or searchable, and I often decided to go with a question. For example, that same video would become, what if the craziest lady in A Game of Thrones had dragons? That's just about how YouTube search works in 2026. It's all about matching a viewer's intent, enticing them in, but keeping enough keywords in there that say an AI that is searching the internet for someone can also pick out the video. With that in mind, descriptions get a total facelift. The first couple of lines become a hook to pull people in, followed by a keyword-rich summary. And then the most crucial part, timestamps. We know that chapters can boost watch time because they can help a viewer find the exact moment they need in a video, but in 2026, in a world of AI searches, timestamps actually work as bookmarks for the AI scanning your content. So my titles needed to be clear and descriptive. They needed the keywords too. And then the final, most important part for 2026 YouTube was creating content threads. We kind of touched on this with the playlists, but I started to use my end screens, both in the video production portion of it, but also checking older content to build a seamless journey for my viewers. This was a direct solution to my old problem, where the videos being promoted were everywhere. Now, at the end of a video where it was a specific game or specific mechanic, the end screen wouldn't just point to a random video or the latest upload. It would point to the next logical step for the viewer, like say another video from the same playlist, or to the next series I think matches closest. By linking my content together and repackaging it, I was giving clear signposts for the algorithm. I wasn't creating just a quick stopping place. The final change was not the quickest, but it had such a subtle psychological effect and an actual algorithmic effect that it might just be a little bit genius. This is the one I'm calling creating a clean slate. But that's kind of what I've been doing the entire time, so let's talk about the videos themselves. I created this clean slate by hunting down and removing all the outdated junk from inside of my videos. A lot of my older evergreen guides or bigger videos, the ones still getting traffic, they had ancient relics in them. In-video callouts for old sponsors, or shoutouts to social media accounts I hadn't used in years, and more. Obviously, I couldn't re-edit and re-upload these videos without losing the URL or all the views that they had produced. But I could use YouTube's own built-in editor to just trim out little parts. Removing a dead sponsor read or a social media callout is a small bit of housekeeping, but it makes the viewing experience so much cleaner. And why does that matter? 2 reasons. 1, it reduces viewer friction. Every time a viewer sees something that is obviously old or is taking them out of the immersion, it breaks immersion, it breaks the watch time, it breaks their viewership journey. It's a little signal that the content might be untrustworthy. A cleaner video just feels a bit more professional. It encourages people to stick around. And the second reason is a little more technical and kind of a bit more important. By using YouTube's on-site editor, it actually lets the video reprocess, and it makes the YouTube video shorter. But what it doesn't do is change any of that old watch time data, making your viewership watch time actually favorably increase, which the algorithm then picks up. So if you couple this with completely new packaging and metadata, you might find that this entire video begins to grow again, gets a whole new lease of life. So what happened after all of that work in 2025? The first few weeks of January were quiet, terrifyingly quiet. My views were pretty much totally flat, and I had a full-on panic attack. I was thinking I had spent a year meticulously destroying my channel, but I held on. I reminded myself it can take a few weeks for big algorithmic changes, and then it started. Around the 3rd week of January, my graph started to tick up. My daily views began to climb, not with a huge viral spike, but with this steady, unstoppable momentum. Videos I had re-optimized months, even years ago, were starting to tick up and gain views. And I could see it in my analytics. People were watching 2, 3, 4 videos in a row. And the real shock was the money. Like I showed you at the beginning, my revenue for February, March, and April was blowing away everything I had earned before. And here's the crazy part, I was uploading even less. Sure, I put out a few more shorts, but shorts don't make money. Not at the view levels I'm getting. I was dedicated to making 1 long-form video every about 6 weeks. I had completely shifted away from my old quantity at all costs to quality and optimization and doing the best I can. And my per video revenue went through the roof. Gaming channels are known for having low CPMs, but by focusing my videos, making the overall experience better, I was attracting an audience that advertisers were willing to pay more to reach. This just confirms everything that everyone's been seeing in 2026. YouTube's algorithm doesn't just reward you for uploading anymore. It rewards channels that provide high quality and high viewer satisfaction that keep YouTube users watching for longer. I was making more money and working less, all because every single one of my old videos was finally doing its job. While my old unlisted videos still might trickle in a passive income, the real money is coming from a focused, dedicated channel with an efficient library and an algorithm that's working for it, not against it. So, what can you do? My journey back from the dead wasn't magic. It was a methodical process. And it's a framework you can use if your channel feels stuck. First, audit and curate. Go through videos with a critical eye. If your views are stagnant, this is where you're going to find the cause. Find everything that's low quality, off-brand, or just doesn't fit the channel you want to have in 2026 and unlist it. Second, become a playlist architect. Stop treating playlists like a chore. Group your best stuff into ultra-specific, keyword-intense playlists. This is how you stop promoting videos everywhere and start promoting them with purpose. Think like you're organizing a library for someone in a hurry. People don't have time to search for long. This is your number one tool for boosting your session watch time. Third, refresh your content. Your job isn't over when you hit the publish button. Go back and watch your best videos and give them some fresh metadata. Write a new compelling title and description, one that maybe answers a specific question. And most importantly, use end screens and cards to create a logical path for your viewership. Guide them from one video to the next. Don't leave them on a dead end. And finally, clean up. Get rid of any outdated junk inside your videos. Those old sponsor reads, those dead links, old branding. Maybe your videos had an intro splash. Anything that might create friction for a 2026 viewer, get rid of it. It's a small step and it makes everything feel a bit more professional. A lot of creators are terrified that unlisting videos will kill their channel. My experience and the experience of many others shows that if it's done right, the opposite is true. It clarifies your focus. And if it fails, you can always make them public again. As for how long it takes, well, for me, it was 2 to 4 weeks and a lot of planning. But the results were undeniable, so be patient and trust the process. Reviving my channel taught me my most important lesson ever in my YouTube career. Success in 2026 isn't about chasing views or ideas. It's about packaging. It's not about uploading more. It's about making every upload count and making sure your entire backlog is working for you and not against you. My channel was dying not because my videos were bad, but because my old videos were holding them hostage. By unlisting the junk, architecting my playlists, overhauling my metadata, and polishing the final product, I gave my channel a second lease of life. One that's more focused, more fun, and way more profitable. The ghost town is now thriving. It was a ton of work, but the data doesn't lie. Dead channels can be revived. If this video gave you a roadmap, I'd be honored to share more of my YouTube journey with you. Check out Upload Podcast with me and Lionheart, and maybe I'll see you in another video like this one soon.